What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for another early, early daily news video. People have asked for these early drops. People from other parts of the world. It's almost. I was gonna say transfer season, but not sure if I'm gonna call it transfer season. It's almost outgoing transfer slash judgment season. So early drops will be back very soon. But in today's video, shocker, I want to talk about Allegri, but uh, more. Do I need to say in depth? I want to explain a few things, what I believe, basically, or what I think, or what people might be half misunderstood in the last couple of weeks. But before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, but especially subscribe because we're very close to hitting 4,000 subscribers. We're like 5 away. So please do that if you haven't, because a lot of people watch without subscribing. So do that, and let's go. Let's go. Okay, so the video is gonna be about Allegri, and because there's news or like news, I'm not gonna call it news, but a lot of people are running away with it, saying that he will get sacked slash he will leave. He will not be here next season. I personally believe that he will walk, that he will find an agreement with the club. That's what I've always believed. If people have been watching the channel for a very long time, they know what I believe. I don't really believe that these sources that are coming out with with this news, because they're not good sources. I think a lot of people are just clinching on for their hope, and they will believe any source at this point. That's it. But I will get into that later on. I want to start off with the beginning, with Allegri, because I think there's a misconception when you say, I want to change. It doesn't mean, me personally, I'm going to speak for myself. I don't hate Allegri because what he has done for the club in the past, you cannot erase. Like, you cannot remove that. That's there. That's set in stone. It was unbelievable. And probably for a lot of people, including me, the best period of our lifetime supporting the club, especially in recent memory, because we were dominant. We went to 2 Champions League finals. We lost. The second one still hurts, but you believed in that team. You got up to watch that team. Maybe not in the last season, but still, like, we were winning stuff. It was different. There was still a good vibe, all those things. So you cannot take that away from him. He is one of the most successful coaches in our history. You cannot erase that. If you like or dislike him, you cannot, remove that. He's done that. You cannot take that away from him or from the club, whatever. So that's that. I think you need to separate two things. That's the first part. That's his first stint. And people might say, oh, he had a lot of good players. Maybe, but he took us to a different level. And we changed the squad quite a lot, and we still were dominant. So I think it's very disrespectful. I will never say that, he took on Conte's team. He took it to the next level, and we changed that team quite a lot. And we still, we lost Vidal, we lost Pogba, we lost Pirlo, and we still went on, So I think it's very harsh to say that. That credit, he deserves that fully. That's part one. Part two is when he came back. And ever since he came back, it hasn't been good. Actually, it's been really poor. Is the squad as good as back then? No. I think nobody claimed that. But it's more than good enough to do better than what we have been doing. That's what I've always been saying. The third part, and that comes before the final part, is this season, what's happening off the pitch has nothing to do with him, And I said it in January. I said we need a change, but I wouldn't have sacked him in January because nobody would have taken on this job because it's ridiculous. It is. There's no management involved. They're in the background. They throw Allegri out there. And yesterday I was watching that presser and I felt sad for him because at one point I thought he was going to cry. He felt mentally completely done. And that's why I believe he will walk. because why would you want to be part of this absolute mess? You know, he was on the verge of actually crying. I thought, because he was talking about the points deduction coming back and getting announced twice before the game, and he says it's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. You don't know what you're actually doing. You have no idea what you're doing. What are you playing for? And it's a mess. And if I felt for him because he needed to navigate that team within the storm, basically. Whilst I keep saying it, the club is silence. You don't hear from Ferrero. You don't hear from Scanavino. Alcan only speaks to, I don't know, his personal reporter, it seems, because now new quotes came out. I will discuss that during the live, so rewatch that live. I'm not going to talk about those quotes there because those quotes were throwaway quotes. There were quotes like copy paste quotes and quotes of defeat. It's very obvious what's going to happen now. Like, it's what's going to happen. It's going to get way much worse than what's happening now. Those points are not the final. Like, there will come more, and it will affect possibly the following season. It will affect Europe maybe for another year, because the UEFA is like the FIGG. They don't need proof. They will invent something to keep us out of stuff. They will invent stuff to punish us. That's what's going to happen. So, be ready for that as well. Now, the third part is I want him out. And I want him out not because I hate him or I dislike his comments. I don't like how in 2 years' time, he never took responsibility. He has never taken responsibility for bad results. He will always find a weird explanation as of why things are not going in the right direction, basically. He never took responsibility. I don't like that, Even if you don't mean it, at times it felt like he was throwing players under the bus rather than him saying, you know what, this is on me, Because I think that's what a good coach does, especially in these times. He he takes little digs at younger players or certain type of players, but he never takes digs at players that are absolutely finished, like an Alexandro. When you saw him against Empoli, it's embarrassing that he's playing for us. It's even more embarrassing that he will be here next season and probably play, because who else is there to play? These are his decisions. Keeping him, playing him, not holding him accountable for messing up almost week in, week out. Those are his decisions, And based on those things, I'm very skeptical. And I'm saying we need a change. And that doesn't mean the next coach who comes in will turn it around immediately. This will take time. It's a mess. The management, there's no management. We need players moved out and come in with no money, and we'll probably lose players we shouldn't be losing. And you need to build with very low budgets. But if you're basically burning it down, then, well, you need fresh ideas to build it up. And that's why I'm not pushing. I'm more, how do you want to say that? Like, I'm more intent to say I want Giuntoli rather than Manna, based on I want somebody who comes in who hasn't been with the club, for years, ever, and bring in fresh ideas, a new mindset, something completely new. That's what I want with a coach. We need something fresh. We need something new. The players look absolutely beat down. They look like they are done with playing the sport forever. It feels like they're sad. When you watch them play, the facial expressions, everything, it just looks very sad. Even that last goal yesterday, like, they were done. The third goal, they couldn't care. Like, it's completely done. We need a fresh idea. We need somebody who can get their spirits up, play a certain type of football, and it doesn't need to mean Pep style of football or whatever, Klopp. I'm not screaming for a certain type of football. I'm screaming for structure, for an idea, an identity, something the players can recognize themselves in, something we can build on, not chop and change and have a different formation or a different starting 11 every single week. You know, it's a very weird thing to do as well. Like, it feels like he never knows what he needs to do. And he feels like, I'm going back to a 4-3-3. Let's move back to the 3-5-2. Now let's do this. Play Miretti there. Play Sule there. Play Chiesa there. Like, it feels all over the place. It feels very confusing for us. So imagine what it will be for the players on the pitch. Because when Chiesa, Di Maria, and Vlahovic play on top, it looked like they never met, you know? And that shouldn't be the case with the qualities they have. Um, Even after the Empoli games, like, the problem is we score not so many goals. I'm like, yeah, but like, moving on, Di Maria and Vlahovic is not the solution, really, right? I'm not saying if you say move them on, it's wrong or right, but like, the idea behind that linked to the quote, it makes very little sense in my opinion. So all these little things are my opinion is we need something completely fresh, new. Again, no hate, no whatever, but he frustrated me, especially with his post game and pre game quotes, never taking responsibility, saying weird stuff fans don't want to hear. Actually, nobody wants to hear because they are completely out of place with the reality. Um, it's, I think it's just done, and that doesn't mean that if he leaves Juve and he gets another job, he will fail miserably. It's just not working. It's basically as simple as that. It's just not working. I don't think he's a terrible coach as well, but this is clearly not working. The players are not responding, you know. The fans are obviously not responding, and paired to the situation with the club management and all that stuff, it's just a mix of failures, a mix of sadness, basically, to watch and to witness, and it's time to move on. Now, will it happen? We don't know. We don't know. I believe it will happen. I will believe he will find um, kind of an agreement with the club that, time's up. We will move. It's time to move on. That's my personal opinion. Excuse me. And maybe a little bit inside me believes that surely the club is looking at this and they're like, man, this is not working. And now imagine if we need to sell the better players to cash in and replace them with quote unquote lesser players, maybe even younger players. How is that gonna turn out? How is that gonna work? And even, I don't know which position we're in, like 7. We can still get into Europe, but do we want to get in Europe? Because the squad will be completely different next season. Probably less amount of players, probably less quality. Do you want them to play every single 3 times? All those things? I'm not sure about that as well. Especially if you bring in a new coach and he needs to navigate through all this. So it's a very strange situation, but I made my mind up personally. I think we need change. The next one needs time because this needs a proper rebuild. But that was the idea when Allegri came in, and 2 seasons in, what are we rebuilding? Because there's no improvement whatsoever. That's the biggest issue. We got worse, and you might say the points deduction affected that. You could be right, and I agree. For a part with it, but even before the points deduction, we weren't great. We went on that shriek, but if you remember, we came on and said like we got away with a lot of those games, like 4 out of those 8 games, we got away with stuff. We were very lucky. I'll take the win, I've always said, but like it's not building momentum. It's not positive. It wasn't sustainable. So based on all that, that's just my opinion. Again, no hate. I still view him as a great manager for this club, and I will always view him like that. But he's kind of, how do you want to say that? He's kind of making that look less valuable to a lot of people because of what's happening now, because of what he's saying. He comes over a bit cocky, and it's a bad match. I like if you continue, this screams a very bad match. This screams like this is not gonna get back on track. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I know a lot of people are still on board of keeping him, which again, opinions. I don't agree. I don't. You can try to explain to me why in the comments. I will struggle to understand it because I still don't. I don't see an improvement. But again, let me know in the comments. If you are like, no, keep him. Let me know why. But I also don't like that some of the excuses that have been made for him weren't made for Sari or Pirlo. That's why I also don't like. But again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, leave a comment. I will be back probably today because I leave on vacation on Thursday. So I will be out from Thursday until Monday. So Tuesday I will be back. So probably we'll be back today with another live or so. So stay tuned for that and go rewatch the John Alcon live if you have time. Thanks for watching and see you guys tonight. Ciao.